Hello, my name is Justin Toledo, and I will be refuting my opponent's claims. My opponent's claim of policy is that the United States should increase its use of nuclear energy substantially by the next 30 years. His third supporting claims were that nuclear energy is clean energy. Second was nuclear energy is reliable. Third was because of the need to conserve fossil fuels. Nuclear power is a readily available alternative. And my first response to his first claim is nuclear fuel cycle causes CO2 emissions. According to Mark Diesendorf, Director of Sustainability and Senior Lecturer in Environmental Studies at University of New South Wales, states that only reactor operation is CO2 free. All the other stages in the nuclear fuel chain uses fossil fuels and hence emits CO2. CO2 emissions from the nuclear fuel chain will increase substantially as limited supplies of high-grade uranium ore are used up and as low-grade ore is mined and milled using fossil fuels. And my second response to my opponent's first claim is that the waste from nuclear power plants have no permanent disposal facilities in the United States. According to greenamericatoday.org, states there that the waste from nuclear power plants will be toxic for humans for more than 100,000 years. It's untenable now to secure and store all of the waste from the plants that exist to scale up to 2,500 or 3,000, let alone 17,000 plants is unthinkable. No community should have to accept nuclear waste site or even accept the risk of nuclear waste being transported through en route to its final destination. The waste problem alone should take nuclear power off the table. And to also back that up even further, according to U.S. Energy Information Administration, an increasing number of reactor operators now store their old spent fuel in dry storage facilities using special outdoor concrete or steel containers with air cooling. There's currently no permanent disposal facility in the United States for high-level nuclear waste. High-level waste is being stored at nuclear plants. In response to my opponent's second claim, which was that nuclear energy is reliable, my first response is that nuclear power is unreliable in hot weather. According to citizen.org, during heat waves, which are becoming more frequent and intense due to global warming, nuclear power plants are forced to reduce output or even shut down. At the same time, energy demand during heat waves increases due to greater use of air conditioning. The heat wave of 2007, 2006, and 2003 had this effect on reactors around the world. And an example of this is August 16, 2007, the Tennessee Valley Authority shut down Browns Ferry Unit 2 and reduced the output from the Units 1 and 3 reactors to 75% because water in the Tennessee River was too hot due to a heat wave across the southeast. Tennessee Valley Authority had to buy power from elsewhere to meet demand, which was an all-time high. And my second response to my opponent's claim is that the combination of nuclear plant outages and increased electricity demand can result in higher energy prices. According to a public citizen, once again, there's an example of 2006 summer heat, 2006 summer heat wave that caused U.S. natural gas prices to increase by more than 14%. In France, during the 2003 heat wave, the French utility Électricité de France had to buy power from other countries on the open market. The cost of electricity rose to $1,350 per megawatt an hour, compared to $128 megawatts per hour in normal summer months. EDF was not allowed to pass along the cost to consumers, which cost the company $300 million. And another evidence from a public citizen, there's a drought in the summer of 1999 that almost required the shutdown of 2 nuclear power plants in northern Ohio, Perry and David Best. Low water levels in Lake Erie and hot temperatures brought lake temperatures close to the limit considered safe for electricity generation. In response to my opponent's third claims, which was that the breeder reactors can extend the timeline to conserve fossil fuels, my first response is that breeder reactors are too much of a risk. According to electriclightandpower.org, there's a study done by their International Panel of Fissile Materials. They state that sodium is used in breeder reactors to convert uranium into plutonium, and water is just not enough to cool down the plutonium, so they have to use sodium. But one of sodium's major disadvantages is that it reacts violently with water and burns if exposed to air. The steam generators in which molten sodium and high-pressure water are separated by thin metal have proved to be one of the most troublesome features of breeder reactors. Any leak results in a reaction that can rupture the tubes and lead to a major sodium water fire. And my second response is that proliferation risks have not been addressed. According to electriclightandpower.org, there's another study was done, or IPMF, which is the National Panel of Fissile Materials. They state that all reactors produce plutonium in their fuel, but breeder reactors require plutonium recycle, the separation of plutonium from a ferociously radioactive fission products in the spent fuel. This makes the plutonium more accessible to would-be nuclear weapon makers, breeder reactors, and separation of plutonium from spent fuel of ordinary reactors to provide startup fuel for breeder reactors. Therefore, create proliferation problems. This fact became dramatically clear in 1974 when India used the first plutonium separated for its breeder reactor program to make a peaceful nuclear explosion. And to conclude my speech, the evidence I presented proves that nuclear energy is not completely clean energy, is not reliable, and is not a readily available alternative. Thank you.